Hold up, I'll be right back.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Infinite Gains. We're back with a weekly update video. We're going to be going over GME, AMC, Meta, Rocket Labs, this new stock I was checking out called Grab, bunch of different other stocks. So get ready, boys. So we're doing all this on a Sunday. Monday is a holiday, but we're going to go strong Tuesday. And hopefully I'll be able to go live probably Monday night. And so we can kind of do like a warm up going into the week, kind of getting our game plan together, kind of the trades that we're going to do. Obviously, I'm going to be going over GME and AMC, so let's lock in. All right, so we had that crazy day where we kind of gapped up, and that was on Friday. So we gapped up at around $29, so right above that 50 simple moving average. So this is a daily simple moving average. We obviously dumped all the way back down to 27 even. So you actually have a fair value gap sitting right at this zone, all the way down to your fib level at the 0.5 fib level at $26.57, which could potentially act as support. You also have your 20 daily simple moving average at 26.74. Now, something that is interesting is during the gap up, your stochastic RSI, went all the way into the upper range. We did have a previous pullback right whenever the RSI previously reached this range as well. And you can kind of see, kind of in the points where the RSI, the stochastic RSI gets overextended, in these zones, you do have some kind of decent pullback. Now, that's not to say that has to happen, but it is something that is kind of going against us, is that, we did have, and it works inversely as well. Whenever your stochastic RSI is in the lower range, it's kind of whenever you're prepared for a liftoff, right? Even during the May move, your stochastic RSI fully bottomed, then it went into the upper range before. And that's where your bigger moves are going to occur, whenever the stochastic RSI is in the upper range, which, it's not necessarily something that I would be, crazy worried about, but I wouldn't be surprised if this thing kind of wants to reset momentum. Again, on the daily of support, at 26.57, 26.74, somewhere in that range, unfortunately did leave a gap on the daily at 24.94. GME typically wants to fill these. Now, does this have to happen? No, it doesn't. Let's go to the 4 hour so maybe we can get kind of a better picture. And you can actually see exactly what happened. You can actually see it in the extended hours in the 4 hour chart. You literally tagged the 200 SMA. So this is exactly what happened. You tagged 200 SMA. You jumped into your 4 hour point of control, retrace back to your value area low, boom, skyrocketed right into your value area high on the 4 hour chart and extended hours at 31.58. Just absolutely textbook. And this is essentially the essence of what, I'm not just talking about GME, but this is the essence of my trading. These kinds of setup, it's just literally textbook setup move. Unfortunately, we want GME to kind of mow off, so it didn't really work out for us. But on the 4 hour, you have support coming back into this zone all the way down to 26.25. Again, the problem is that on the daily chart, your stochastic isn't looking that great. This is something that I would want to see on the daily chart. You either do something like this and recover your daily point of control at 27.76, or you go back down to fill this gap. So this would be your point of support at this gap zone here. So let's just create a support down at this gap. And then we also have support going down into this gap at 26.20 down to 26.25. So honestly, I would be buying entirely in this range, because the last line of defense really on GME is the daily 200 SMA, which you can just see how powerful it is in extended hours. is that previously, all the way back here, I told you that the bottom was in on GME. You can go back and look at my previous videos. I mean, on that day, I told you, because I forget kind of what happened. I think it was the carry trade, the Japan carry trade or something like this. The market's tanked. When GME touches that daily 200, I mean, it's just such a powerful indicator for GME. It's like you can kind of just see what happens. I mean, you just have an explosive move to the upside afterwards. I mean, it's just because really, when you think about it, algorithms and things like this, yes, some of them are pretty complicated. I mean, quants and shit like that. They come up with pretty sophisticated, strategies and things like that. With kind of different, options, models, and things like that. But some of them are actually very simple. Some of them literally just work off of VWAP strategies, like basic volume strategies, or even basic moving average strategies. It's just a no-brainer to buy GME at the 200 daily SMA. Like it's just a no-brainer. Now, something that could happen is if we broke the daily 200 SMA, it could not be. I honestly, this is just my opinion, but it just cannot be sustained, or else this chart is cooked. I'm just telling you that. Like, this is just my opinion. If GME trades for a substantial amount of time below the daily 200, it's cooked. The only way that it could trade below the daily 200 and not be dead is that it either just absolutely just V-shapes. Like, if we drop here and like somehow start trading below the 200, it would have to bounce at like 23. So this is your next fair value gap, and just absolutely just fucking V-shape out of there, because it cannot trade like for a sustained amount of time below the daily 200, or else the trend will just become a downtrend again. Like, you know what I mean? And you can see several times, and it works inversely the same way. Is that, look at this. Price will try to, like, it's just trying to get above that daily 200. It's trying to breathe and just gets fucking smacked down. It tries to have that explosive move, gets smacked down. It tries to have that explosive move, gets smacked down right below that daily 200 SMA. I mean, it is literally has tried so many times. Look at this. Just rejection right at the daily 200. It's trying to trade above that daily 200 and gets a rejection. So having recovered the daily 200 is huge. I mean, it's huge. You can't trade below it for a substantial amount of time, or else the trend will just turn into a downtrend. So in my opinion, like, anywhere near the daily 200 and below, I'm buying GME. I'm just buying it. It's just, for me, it's just a no-brainer. Anywhere near the daily 200 to $23, this is a no-brainer buy. And I'm talking about shares. I'm not talking about options. Obviously, people have gotten destroyed by options and shit, and I understand that. But anyways, yes, I'm buying near the daily 200. I'm buying. I mean, you have some. I'm not gonna lie. The chart's kind of weird with the moving averages. I haven't really seen a setup like this before, and you do want to recover 27.79 to have a move up to 30. So your value area high currently is 33.55 on GME. Honestly, once price kind of moves near the $33 area, your value area high should move back to that 34.10 to 34.40 zone. The value area high here at 33.55 is going to be your breaking point for a larger move, which is, on my Twitter, I've said, to not get excited until that kind of happens. On the 4-hour chart, I wouldn't really get excited until that 31.58 breaks, or in regular hours, 30.21. So I could definitely see something like this. We don't necessarily have to fill that other gap and then like recover like something like this. Alternatively, yeah, you could just come back, fill this gap, and your daily 200 is like somewhere around here. So you're just coming right below that daily 200 and then kind of V-shaping back to the upside. I would say the stock. I would say the chart is in a decent point. I would just let it play out. I mean, this is just kind of weird price action. It's just, I mean, you have these kind of gaps, and kind of like weird price movement. I would say right now it's kind of unpredictable. But again, I mean, I'm still buying anywhere near the daily 200 SMA. So at this point, it's still just a no-brainer buy for me. I would just keep stacking shares. I would just keep accumulating. I wouldn't YOLO options because you're going to lose your ass on them. But as far as shares go, I would just keep stacking. Same with AMC. If you remember from our previous video where we literally drew this green box and it bounced exactly at that box because we're the best. Because we are the best. We're the best to ever do it. No, but I mean, if you remember from that previous video, we're gonna have to go to regular trading hours where we drew this box. It was at the bottom of your fair value gap all the way down to, was this your daily value area low? Oh, wait, here we go. Yeah, yep. It was your so your daily value area low was sitting at that 305, and then on the 4 hour, your value area low is all the way at 446. So that's really our next target, is that 4 hour value area low, and also your daily 200 SMA is 447. I mean, you're going to return to that. It's like a magnet. You're going to return back to that daily 200 SMA at 447. You're bouncing off your value area low on the daily chart. That's good. That's bullish. That's where we wanted to buy. That's like, I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer. Like, you buy at the value area low. It's just a no-brainer. Like, for me, on a macro level, which, our next point is your next magnet for AMC is going to be that point of control at 490, and you have to recover that. And I'm not going to lie, this is actually kind of a bullish chart now. And I know that we went through a lot of pain and a lot of hell for that to happen, because you essentially just double bottom, just like your macro double bottom in all the way back in 2021, which is, do we have more pain ahead of us? Do we have this weird choppy, kind of double top, double bottom kind of choppiness? Do we have kind of more pain ahead of us? I don't know, but your next point is going to be either that daily 200 or 490, and then you can kind of worry about, what the hell is going to happen. I mean, I'm bullish on AMC on a macro on a daily chart. I'm bullish until 490, and then if you recover 490, then you're gonna go to. I'm almost certain that whatever happens here, you're going to return back to 590. You're going to return back to your value area high, and that's going to be your breaking point, because this is essentially kind of the same setup as 2021. As well, so you kind of have this double top into this double bottom. Price action develops back to the value area high or horizontal resistance, and then that's kind of where you have this crazy, gap up, all the way back to $78. I mean, that's a pretty substantial gap. Yeah, I mean, if you recover 590. It would do something like this. I'm not saying something like this isn't out of the picture, but it would look kind of weird. I'd say something like this. Let me delete this. That looks kind of weird, I'm not going to lie. Let's just go back to the 4 hours so we can kind of see. So we kind of, okay, yeah, this would be better. So you might see even something like this, like a return back to $5, come back, test 450, come up and break 548, and then have some kind of explosive move, while GME does whatever the hell it needs to do. But kind of your breaking point for AMC is going to be that 590 level. I mean, I'm almost confident if you break 590 again, retest the support, you're going to go back up into at least these fair value gaps. I mean, all the way to 23 and above. And then that's kind of like when game on. I mean, like GME's at this time, like GME would be breaking out of your 34.10 range or 34.40 range. Like you would know, like when AMC's breaking 590, like GME's breaking like 34 or more, because AMC's typically kind of like a slow starter. So GME would kind of already have the breakout kind of before AMC's recovering to like, $6, 590 per se. But you would definitely know. But I mean, at this time, I would just let kind of price action play out. I'm not gonna lie, like this would be kind of a good spot to start buying. But as far as kind of like predicting exactly what's gonna happen, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Price action is a little bit weird, so I'm not exactly sure. But I would still say the chart is bullish for both of them. All right, let's go look at Meta. I don't really even trade Meta, but I mean, this is obviously a bullish chart. Like, there's just really no other way to look at it. Your stochastics in the upper range, which is kind of suspicious, but not really. But yeah, your daily is kind of in that upper range there. I would say it really wouldn't start getting, crazy overextended. Yeah, I mean, your stochastic on the daily's at 100. It can't even go any higher. It's just like, guys, what's going on here? Like, we're at the highest we can. I don't know. This thing is kind of, this is definitely due for a pullback. If we go to the 4 hour, it's not due extended hours. Do session. Okay, regular extended. Okay. Yeah, this thing is due for a pullback. I would say definitely if we come up into the 780s to 760s, like I would feel confident in entering some kind of short position there. I'm not gonna lie, because it would just be too overextended. Because right now you're already overextended on your daily, but you're kind of waiting for like the 4 hour and 1 hour to kind of catch up and get super overextended, kind of for that kind of pullback on Meta. Yeah, I mean, I would say right now it's kind of unconclusive on the 1 hour. It kind of looks like this, like it even wants this to pull back to this high volume point and then come back. But on the daily, it's bullish. I wouldn't want to get in front of this thing because it's like a moving train. But like if we enter into 760 to 780s, like I'm definitely going short. All right, Rocket Labs. Your stochastic on the weekly chart is bottomed after this crazy move. So and that's good to see while price is basically consolidating. Literally into a weekly bull flag. That's not a bad thing at all. I don't know why this is happening. I have to reload the chart. See. All right, where was it? Okay, Rocket Labs. Okay. Yeah, price is definitely, I would say, definitely going to pull back into at least this fair value gap, and then has permission to kind of go. I would say that it could even pull back. If this fair value gap fails, I mean, I would be bullish at the value area high again for a bounce at 2050. So the weekly chart is bullish, but on the daily chart, it is kind of hinting at a pullback. It does kind of need to cool off a little bit. Yeah, and it's currently trapped under its 20 SMA. I would say if it recovers its 20 SMA, you can, fair enough if you want to be still bullish on it. But I would say for me to go long on this, I want to see a pullback. I just don't see the risk to reward scenario in which you're kind of just like, this thing has already moved from, what is it? Your point of control all the way down at like $4. So this thing has already gone up like 700%. Yeah, I mean, for me to go long on this again, I would want to see some kind of pullback into at least like 24. Preferably, I would feel more comfortable entering into a long position at 2050. So I would enter at 2050. If 2050 fails in 1792, that would even be more preferable. you do kind of have this gap even at 15 to 14. Am I saying I'm like super bearish on it? But no, I would kind of let this thing cool off and reassess at 2050. But the weekly chart, it's definitely macro bullish. It's definitely, but I'm talking about short-term price action. Like, I'm definitely waiting for a pullback at least to like 2050 on Rocket Labs. But I may get ridiculed for that because it seems like everybody on Twitter is super bullish on it. Same thing with Grab. I've been hearing a lot of shit about Grab on Twitter. Again, it's the macro weekly is bullish, but you know, let's go back to that daily chart and kind of check this thing out. Okay, I think I have too many tabs open. How about we just close the ones that we've kind of already gone over so we don't have to. Hopefully it'll let us open some more tabs, but we just looking at Grab. So we'll look at Grab on the daily chart. Yeah, I would say Grab is decently. Let's see. So that's 419. This is not a bad chart. I'm not gonna lie. This thing could go even $10. But it's kind of a question of, you know, when do I enter this thing? You know, like, do I just create some kind of trend here? Let's even go back down to the 4 hours. So we might be able to even get a better picture here. Okay, so it looks like 4 hour support is at 465. So I'd be fine with that, having a pullback to, you know, at least 465 and having some kind of bounce. We'll see if that makes sense on the daily chart, though. Yeah, I mean, if you went down to 465, you might as well come and test the daily 100. So that might be coming up here, like 460. So that might actually make sense at the time. I would wait. I'm kind of in the same bag with Grab as I was the Rocket Lab. Is like I kind of want some kind of pullback before I feel confident about longing this thing. But this thing is definitely macro bullish until like $10. I'm not even gonna lie. Am I saying that's possible? No, because I have no idea. I have no idea what the stock even is. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea. I have nothing. I have no idea what it is at all. But let's see if we can just create some kind of stupid, simple. Okay, this thing is not cooperating with me. Whatever. Okay, same bag. Pull back. If it touches the daily 100 SMA, I'm going long in this thing. If it breaks the daily 100, then I'm out. So you would create some kind of long position here and then cut your losses. Wait, what the hell? Yeah, if it breaks the 100, I'm cutting my losses all the way down to like 417. And by the time you come to 417, your daily 100 should be a little bit higher. And so like you would have some kind of move like that. But no, I'm not even gonna lie, I would actually go long on Grab. But like short-term price action like definitely needs a pullback. So but macro, like in terms of like long term as in like a few weeks, then yeah, I would definitely actually be bullish on Grab. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look that bad. Especially whenever your weekly stochastic has fully bottomed after a move like this. Like any reversal to the downside is kind of like icing on the cake. Yeah, let me go back to the daily. See here. Yeah, I would go bullish. I would say short-term pullback until like at least something like 460, but still bullish. Okay, restore connection. I remember talking about this on my Twitter, but like 50 cents or something like this. Maybe I'm not really even sure what it was. When I was talking about. Yeah, MGO, what was it at? Okay, it was at like 65. Okay, not too bad. Yeah, I would have really liked us. Honestly, this is too risky. I mean, and really for what? I mean, at best, you're gonna shoot back up to that daily 200 at like 296, that's pretty decent return. But in my opinion, it's just too risky. And you left all these gaps kind of below you, which kind of leads me to believe like if you get stuck under this daily value or high, something like this, then you could definitely come back and fill that gap, which is honestly, this this is actually a lot better setup where you can see a lot better. Yeah, this is now this with extended hours on is telling me you're going right back to this zone at about 28, maybe recovery something like this. So I would say short term bearish on an MGO Global. Again, I have no idea what it even is. It's like a, obviously it's a penny stock, but I would say the risk reward scenario is not there. I mean, I would think about entering a position, down at like 28 cents or even 37 cents, somewhere in this kind of zone. But I would say this one's too risky. But I would, definitely keep your eyes on it if you're wanting to enter along, because it looked like people were interested in it. I don't know. We had a comment. What is this? I don't know. I guess there's a community about it because I was hearing about it on Twitter. But, if you want to go long on this, I would just wait for a retracement back to like, 30 cents, 28 to like 30 cents to go long. Let's look at coin. Coinbase, I would say on the daily chart. Okay, daily chart wants to pull back into this fair value gap. So I can either see, preferably, I'm definitely going long if we hit that value high at 234.90, but probably pull back into the middle of this FEG at like 249.85, something like this, because for some reason, like, Bitcoin is just absolutely stagnated. It's just not doing shit. I mean, it's just not doing anything. And you can kind of see, like, when Bitcoin is just stagnating, it's just not good for coin because, I guess people just aren't using Coinbase or something like this whenever prices kind of stagnated. So yeah, definitely if actually, let's just look at Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin daily. So Bitcoin weekly is bullish. Daily, wow, this is just super ugly price action. That is just ugly. Technically, it's bullish right here. Technically, it's bullish right here. Something like this. But even still, while Bitcoin's stagnating, I would say, probably a pullback into at least the daily 100. So maybe that was kind of too extreme. Maybe it was kind of too extreme, but like something like this, I could see even a bounce at like 257, kind of while Bitcoin figures itself out before it wants to make its next move. Definitely, I would say pull back on coin, but I'm still macro bullish on coin for sure. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I rolled some of my 401k into, I don't want to say an ETF, but what is it, like a blended investment or something, whatever, and it has Coinbase in it. So I'm not gonna lie, like I'm actually macro bullish on Coinbase, but temporarily pull back, maybe even to the daily 100, 256, potentially even lower. But I mean, I would definitely go long here, either at the daily 100 or 234.90. So definitely kind of looking for some kind of pullback. Like, I'm going balls deep at 234.90, but like I would still go long at like the daily 100, like 256, something like this. But yeah, no, Bitcoin looks bullish. Bitcoin is bullish on the weekly and the daily. Let's go look at Tesla, guys. We can't even call Tesla any better. Like, we can't even call Tesla any better, bro. Like, you don't understand. You don't understand. Look at this. We posted this. When did we post this? January 8th. So we posted this while Tesla was at 394. So all the way up here, and we targeted that 350 to 360 zone. It perfectly hits our fair value gap at 325. And you have a rebound. So, bro, it's just like walking a dog. Like, you can't get better than that. Okay, daily's kind of inconclusive here. Definitely want to go back down to the 4 hour, see if we can get kind of any. Okay, this is just bullish. Yeah, this is literally just bullish. Like, like it may stair step like this, but it's definitely going up. It's like this is almost brutally obvious with extended trading hours on. Oh, even better. This gives us a good entry point. If we have a pullback to Tesla at 340.80, I'm going long. You best believe I'm going long on it. So if we get a pullback, to 340.80, I'm going long. Again, price is stuck under the 50 and 20 SMA, so definitely something to have on your chart. Like I would definitely have on your chart the 50 and 20 SMA, because technically the trend's broken. So technically you are in a bearish trend. You have to break the 20 and 50 SMA to be in a bullish trend again. So technically the bull trend is broken. And I'm talking about the macro bullish trend. But I mean, if we go back down to that daily, I mean, that's just a beautiful bounce. You just can't ask for better than that. Let me see here. 4 hour. And here's the deal, really, is that by doing this, you can make a ton of money. I mean, really, if you and I'm about to go over SPY next, so the S&P 500. Like, if you trade, I'm not telling you to trade like 0 date to expiration, but like if you're just trading like a few days out, right? For example, say market opens like Monday, you kind of have a clear idea of where SPY is headed. Like if you just want to buy, let's just say to the end of the week, so Friday, expiring options, they're not that expensive. Like they're really not. I mean, yeah, they are like a couple $100, but you could quickly build a small portfolio. I mean, even trading, options in any of these, like even in GME, you could quickly build a small port. I mean, just look at SPY. We're gonna go over SPY next, but I mean, there's just a ton of money to be made in a very short period, because you just trade the trend. Like you just trade the trend. Like, and it's so simple. It's so like, and it almost is so simple that people don't believe it, or people just think that it's like that it won't work. And I have moving averages on every single chart. I literally all I use fair value gap, simple moving averages, and volume profile. That's all I use, because it is so simple. Like it is. Look at this. If you just bought Tesla above the 20 SMA, you would have bought at 240 and closed your trade at 415 just by using the 20 SMA. Like literally just by using the 20 simple moving average. Like, do you understand like how powerful that is and how easy that is? Like you have people out here using like harmonics. You have people out here using like, oh, I'm gonna calculate with the Black Scholes model, the some options bullshit. Like, guys. Or like and there's so many complicated things when it's just not that complicated. Like you just trade trend, that's it. Like, and it's so easy that people won't believe it. They won't believe it. That's why you guys pay like $300 a month to have some fucking idiot on Twitter who's full of shit, who's full of himself, talk to you for hours about some like complicated trading bullshit that doesn't work. Like you just trade the trend. Like you just trade trend, you just trade volume, because volume moves price. You can't get around the fact that volume moves price. Like you can never escape that fact. So if you don't have something that involves volume on your chart or simple moving averages, I don't know if I can trust you. Because I'm not even showing you the full picture. There's actually so much better tools around volume analysis than TradingView. Like TradingView is just like kind of like I would call it like a newbie trading tool. There are just so much better tools, but I'm just telling you, like you just need to have this on your chart and just trade trend. I mean, just for example, we're just looking at AMD. Like you just trade trend on AMD above the daily 200. Trend broken, and you just go short. Like, and it's just that simple. But you have to use it in combination with different things. Like you use it in combination with the volume profile and fair value gaps, which is what I do. I would be comfortable going. I think from our previous video, this is this little box that we made here, which is all the way back down. So we've actually kind of been short on AMD. I mean, all the way back down to the value area high at 102.89. So I would feel more comfortable going long at about $100 to $103, and especially if you get some kind of rejection on the weekly from that fair value gap, you're definitely going down. Yeah, I would say either this happens, or I would go long if we recovered 123.98. If you recover 23.98, then I'd go long, but really I would just like to wait until we come back into this zone. And this zone exists all the way down to $100, so $103 to $100, and I would feel comfortable going long on AMD. So in my opinion, I'm just waiting. Like, I don't give a shit if AMD goes to $1 billion tomorrow. I'm just going to wait until AMD hits around $100 to go long on it. So yeah, all the way down to $100 to $97, I would go long on AMD in this zone. And again, if you miss the train, who gives a shit? That's not what trading is. Trading is a waiting game. Trading is waiting for certain setups to come to you, and don't force anything. That's why in some of my videos, like, people get mad. They're like, what you said was kind of like unconclusive or something like this. Well, it's like, yeah, that's what I say. Like, if the trade setup is not there, then don't trade it. You're just forcing. And I think that's what happens with a lot of people, is that they kind of just force themselves into trade. They feel like they have to trade. If I look at a chart and it just doesn't make sense, like look at this grab chart. It's bullish. I would feel comfortable going long on it, but realistically, it's like the setup just not there. The setup was there at 375, but you missed it. So why are you trying to force a trade? For example, even this MGO Global, it's like, why are you trying to force a trade into these stocks? Like, I'm happy to go over it. I'm happy to go into some analysis, but if the trade isn't there, then just don't force it. It's just, and for me, it's kind of simple, but for a lot of people, they kind of try to over trade. They kind of force themselves into trade because they kind of feel weird, like if they're not in a trade. Okay, MicroStrategy. This is just. I would say it's bullish because Bitcoin is bullish, so you can't. I mean, if Bitcoin's bullish, how the hell are you going to be against MicroStrategy? But again, everyone knows my position on MicroStrategy is that I am just so unbelievably bearish on MicroStrategy. Like it hurts. Like, it literally, I'm so bearish on it that it hurts. But I'm not dumb enough to say that in the short term this thing couldn't obviously go up. Like, on the 4-hour chart, you have a decent, you literally just recover that point of control. Like, you could just definitely see something. Recover the 20 and 50 SMA, kind of build your way up past 450, and then just have some kind of, bigger move, like on the macro chart, even, back to past all-time highs. So, and again, I think in previous videos we already went over MSTR. I think I have you need to go watch that video I made on MSTR because it goes over a lot of different price levels that I can't make in this video. But I think we were using something like this. See how you can perfectly see a tag that 1.618 extension right at 54, and this is what we were talking about previously whenever we took that short, is that we shorted right at that 1.618 extension at 546.62. Now, your next extension, honestly, I wouldn't base it off of this macro extension. I would base it off maybe something like this. So, well, that would be 3.618. Not sure if that makes too much sense. That doesn't really make too much sense. And I don't want to give it that 884 range because that's just way too much. That just doesn't make any sense. Like, if we ever got that high, I would just be euphoric. because it would just be free money in the bank. But you can't really ignore that MSTR is in this macro bull flag. Pretty simple. I mean, you have a bull flag on a weekly chart, so you can't really ignore that. I'd be short-term bullish. Let this thing fly. I would just watch my previous video on kind of price targets for MSTR. But I could definitely see all-time highs for MSTR. Like if we hit past all-time highs, I'm gonna let it squeeze for a little bit, maybe even into the mid 600s to 700, and I'm going short. And I'm loading up on leaps, and I'm laughing to the bank. I'm laughing to the bank all day long. Like I'm laughing to the bank on MSTR. This thing will have I can almost guarantee it will literally just have another 50% drop or more, 50 to 70% drop. Like if we go to all-time highs, this thing is just like short, just going into leap shorts. This is a no-brainer. Okay, let's look at Palantir. Stochastic RSI has some room. It recovered the 2.618 extension. I would say it really won't be overextended until about 147 to about 147 to about 150, which is pretty incredible. I mean, this chart itself is incredible, but I wouldn't really go short until about that 150 mark on Palantir. I guess some people were kind of bullish or just kind of bearish on it, but if we hit man, but this daily is just really contradicting. This daily is just super contradicting. Again, on Palantir, I would just wait. I would just wait until we get even more overextended. Just wait until we get a little bit more overextended, and then I'm entering shorts. Like if we come up to that 150, or about 147 zone, I'm shorting that shit all the way down. Because I mean, just look at it. This chart is just like it's just overextended on the weekly chart and the daily chart. If something like this happened, that would be beautiful. If we hit in the 140s, you're probably gonna snap back down to that 20 SMA at minimum, back down to like $100, like $120. I mean, and that gap fill is just looming at 80. That fair value gap is just looming at 80. But again, you don't want to get tricked by it, because this would have tricked your ass. This would have tricked you. Like this would have tricked you. So you can't really bet on them gap fills. But I sure as hell bet on it. If we get overextended on that weekly chart at about like 150. So I'd be going short in Palantir about 150. SPY is definitely bullish to about, again, this is your deep bearish crab on SPY weekly chart. So if we go to that, so kind of your next level would be that 3.14. So these are your extreme extension levels for SPY. So your next zone would be at minimum 631. Again, if we just keep on pumping, man, your next zone would be, and this would realistically be your optimal shorting zone, would be at that 3.618, which is at 665. 365. Really, that 3.14 will even take you to the midline of your fair value channel. And you can kind of see we did have some kind of reversal here whenever we reached the midline of the channel. And also here you reach the midline of the channel. And here around 6, probably in this zone I'd probably go short on SPY. But that is just a dangerous trend. That's a dangerous trend. Because it really just kind of reminds you of these trends. Like just only up, boom, dies, and then only up, and then just dies. And it's just kind of like this just repeating cycle of just like perpetually squeezing bears, and then it just has this massive pullback. But I wouldn't necessarily be bearish on SPY until about like 6:30, and then preferably that 3.618. I mean, that's all the way at 660 to 670. So, not really too much reason to be macro bearish on SPY right now. I think a lot of people have, been, just getting like super bearish on SPY for some reason. I guess there's just like a bunch of uncertainty in the market, but yeah, this thing can go way higher, my friend. This thing is at least going to like 620. I mean, this thing is gonna make new all-time highs. I can almost guarantee that. But yeah, I really wouldn't be shorting till around like 336 or possibly even higher on SPY. But okay, we went over a bunch of different stuff, and again, like I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow because I can just, I don't know, it's just a lot easier to kind of convey trades or kind of convey information whenever you're live streaming, because it just kind of, I don't like it whenever the price isn't moving when I'm looking at a chart, because it just, I don't know, it just feels kind of weird. It feels like the chart isn't like alive or something like that. But I try my best to make these videos, and so definitely try to go live tomorrow before the week starts on Tuesday. It is a short week, so we'll get our trades in there. But we covered a lot of stuff, and again, comment below if you want me to go over different stocks and kind of, I guess, your ideas on GME and AMC. But that's all for the video tonight, and peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.